Oh, Milo, you spelled my name wrong on your podcast. It's not desperate.
I fixed it though, didn't I?
Oh my God.
I know.
Yeah,
I dropped the E off
you fix it.
her last name.
I'll share it then.
I fixed it. I fixed it like right when you told me.
I am there. I know, but it's funny because like you put my website underneath with my correct spelling.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
It's just what I was when I was typing it. I just accidentally like dropped the E off the end of it when I was typing it. Whoops. If it makes you feel better, everybody either mispronounces or misspells my name.
There's probably loads of agents looking for a Claire Milan without the E.
Oh
now.
yeah, God! You're probably looking me up wrong, totally.
They probably are. They're looking up, on IMDb, and they're like, "No, this can't be the right one. It's got an E at the end of it."
No. But do you know what, Carl? We did a table quiz last night, an online table quiz. But Carl, you said this film was really bad or something, didn't you?
We'll find out now.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Well, let me introduce it.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
And then we'll decide if it's good or bad or who likes it or not. Welcome to the No Budget Filmcast, where we dip into the independent film universe to highlight those little films that you might not have heard about elsewhere. Will you agree with our panel, or will the panel agree with each other? Tune in to find out on this special episode, because it's our 10th episode of the No Budget Filmcast. With me is Claire Milan.
Hello. All the way from the Hollywood Hills. Yeah.
And Kaho Feeney.
Hello.
From San Francisco?
Yeah, San Francisco. You're the first time.
Well, what's the background in your image there? Isn't that a bridge or something?
It is the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, see?
Behind me.
It's like, how did you manage to do that? Because it's really like you have your fireplace, and then it's like in San Francisco in the background.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I didn't manage it at all.
It looks like smokestacks, kind of, because the way it's moving a little bit.
Because I thought that was on purpose. I was thinking he's actually created that background on purpose with kind of smoky San Francisco vibe. But of course, Milo's gone to the office, and you've gone to the office. So yeah.
I've gone to the office. I'm the only one in the office here. I'm the only one daring enough to leave the house and come into the office. So I have the whole place to myself.
Oh, it's a really cool office. It's very open plan. I like it.
The No Budget office. London edition. Okay. So today we are talking about a film called I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. It is starring Melanie Lynskey and what's the dude's name? I can't think of his name. Basically, it's
Elijah Wood.
There you go, Elijah
How
Wood.
can you forget Elijah Wood?
I know, that's like embarrassed with myself for that. Melanie Lynskey and Elijah Wood, and directed by and written by Macon Blair. So basically what this film is it features Melanie, who plays Ruth, and she is a kind of depressed woman that's frustrated with life in general. She comes home from work one day and she finds that her house has been robbed, and she contacts the police. The police don't do anything, so she decides to take it into her own hands and see if she can track down the people who robbed her. She befriends Elijah Wood's character, who's named Tony, and the two of them go in search of her missing belongings, and hijinks ensue, I guess. Although not necessarily hijinks. I don't know. What you guys think?
Yeah, it was kind of a strange one. I watched it today. I know, Carl, you watched it yesterday, I think, and Carl, he kind of gave me the impression he didn't like it. I'm not sure. So I was a bit apprehensive sitting down today to watch it. At first I thought, it looks like it's very slow. So I was like a bit reluctant, but it really kicked off then, and I really got into it. And I really, really enjoyed the film, surprisingly, because it's been on Netflix since 2017. And it's won, I didn't notice it afterwards, but actually won the Sundance Film Festival Grand Jury Prize in 2017, which is only after the film, when I started Googling it, I found it out. It's at first when I started watching it, I didn't realize how violent it would become. and there's definitely a Quentin Tarantino-esque feel to parts of it. But I love the lead actress, Melanie Lynskey. Her name wouldn't be very familiar, but anyone who remembers, Heavenly Creatures with Kate Winslet, remember that film?
I do,
It's,
yeah.
yeah, so this was the girl, the Kate Winslet's best friend, the other lead
Oh,
actress. Yes, yeah. So, and she's also in Two and a Half Men. She's actually from New Zealand. She's not
yeah.
an American actress at all. But I
That's
hadn't
where I recognized her
heard her
from, was
name.
from Two and a Half Men.
Really? Because I
Mm.
never watched Two and a Half Men, but I love the way she acted in this. It was very understated, and I thought it was really well acted. Elijah Wood, I hadn't seen him in years, so it was weird to see him popping up here. Yeah, he played a very unusual, quirky character. It started off very slow, but then kicked into another gear. It was kind of like two films stuck together, I thought.
It was, because when
It
you
was
start
like,
watching it, it seems like it's one film, and then it kind of changes tones
yeah.
throughout the film, which is really interesting. And towards the end, you're like, wow, that's not quite what I expected. But I agree with Melanie's performance. I love these really kind of subtle, low-key performances. And that's what I really enjoyed about her. And yeah, Elijah Wood, I think since he did so well off the Lord of the Rings movies, he doesn't need the money anymore. So now he just does these quirky, independent films nowadays.
But I think it's great because a lot of these films, they're hidden in Netflix. Because when I go to Netflix, you're kind of flicking through, and you go for the more well-known ones, or the more publicized documentaries. But this means sitting in Netflix for the last like 3 years, unbeknownst to me, and it was a little gem of a film that I'm just wondering how many films are there on Netflix that would be terrific, but they're not publicized, or I can't believe, because this one particularly, because it won the Sundance Grand Jury Prize 2017, and the fact it wasn't on my radar anyway, which and I'm fairly, I like to think I'm up to date about film stuff, but it never. I didn't come across it, or so it was unusual when was it Carl's suggestion, or was it no? It was your suggestion,
It was
was
mine,
it?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was your suggestion, and I was like, okay, I'll what's this film? But I didn't. The fact it won this massive prize, and I hadn't heard about it, and it was sitting in Netflix, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I sat down earlier. It's 90 minutes, so it's fairly compact, a little film, But when it kicked off into becoming more violent, I'm not really massive into violent films, but it was a bit of a comedic element to it as well. It's like a comedy thriller, but it was very unexpected the way it kicked off. Because originally I thought, oh no, here's going to be 2 hours or 90 minutes of just kind of more subtle, boring kind of film. So that took me by surprise completely.
Okay, well, now for the alternative viewpoint.
Everybody's
Actually,
allowed to have an opinion, Cathal, even you.
Funnily enough, I have the complete reverse opinion of Claire. I actually thought it started out well, and then went downhill after that. Like, I like the humor at the beginning. Like you say, it was understated. It was very subtle, and I agree with all of you that I really liked her character. But for me, it started to go wrong with the Elijah Wood character. Almost immediately, I didn't like him. Like, his sort of goofy, nerdy loner kind of thing, and that whole character, they tried to carries the humor of his character throughout the film, and I think it's sort of, it doesn't. I just don't like it. It's an alternative sort of good script. It's good dialogue, just to have this stupid character, doing stupid things. So I didn't know what it was trying to be. Like, was it? What do you say? Was it a comedy, or was it a thriller, or was it a comedy thriller? And
Yeah, it was kind of like 2-3 genres in one. It was because the unexpected way it kind of turned from a very subtle film into a very violent film.
and it
It
did,
took me by surprise completely.
it did. But I think for it to work, the comedy has to be very good, or the drama, or the thrill has to be very good, and it was kind of halfway between both. I think for it to be a thriller to work really well, it has to be either based in reality, or oozing with tension, and this was neither, as far as I was concerned.
Especially when they went to this big house, and they pretended to be cops, there was one moment where where Melanie's character Ruth, she goes into the supermarket and she gets a little police badge it was like a little toy police badge in the cereal, and then she goes to this big house because she's trying to find out who's broken into her house. And it was weird when I went to the house because he thought it would be really comedic, but it just stayed just on the wrong, like it was a bit too serious or something. They didn't play up the comedic value of that, and they could have.
They tried to when he did that, like soliloquy out at the coffee, working in the coffee shop and all the different shapes he put on the coffee, and it just wasn't funny. Like, it was a bit forced as far as I was concerned.
I suppose that was a little bit flat, and that was a great opportunity because I've seen a lot of other films like that where they have those scenes and they're terrific. They really take the film off. But this one, I suppose that whole sequence was a little bit flat. It didn't go to the comedic side of things, and it could have. Yeah.
What about when she stole the lawn art at the very end in it?
Yeah, that wasn't really comedic. Did you find that comedic, Milo?
I saw the comedy in it. I mean, I didn't really laugh. I don't know if I really picture this, because it's kind of, there's different types of comedies. There's the subtle comedies, and then there's the laugh out loud comedies. And this is not the second. This is kind of more the just a little bit off type comedies. Yeah,
really quirky kind of comedy.
Exactly.
So maybe that was probably intentional. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to go for the laugh out loud. Like, for instance, like Get Out, the film Get Out, that was really going for kind of laugh out loud comedy, violence.
It was definitely two stools. I think it was hamstrung by this, that it started out as a comedy, and I felt he probably felt that he had to keep the comedy element going, but he should have either like not started out that way, or even, I think it was the guy who wrote and directed himself. I don't know. He probably could have done with maybe a team of people having a look at it and upping the comedy quotient in it.
But the director, I don't know how to pronounce his first name, Macon Blair, but he's actually an actor originally. So he was in, I don't know if anyone saw Blue Ruin, and I think he was in a few other films, but this was his directorial debut. So
by the way, he was also in this film.
Oh, he was the barman in it? I was looking up IMDb afterwards.
He wasn't the barman. He was the guy at the bar, I think. Remember, he was talking about the book.
He ruined the book for her.
Okay.
That guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to do his directorial cameo. I think, as his first directorial film that he wrote and directed, that to me is pretty impressive as well. For a first feature.
And apparently he's doing his thing next called Toxic Avengers. It's like some sort of series thing or some superhero thing. I'm not exactly sure, but it's because this was released like 3 years ago. So like he hasn't. I never heard of Macon Blair before this, but for his directorial debut, I think it was really, really good. Really good.
Absolutely.
It'd be interesting to see what he's been working on or what he is going to do next. This Toxic Avenger.
If this were my first feature film out the gate, I'd be pretty impressed with myself as well.
And to win the Sundance Film Festival Grand Jury Prize, that's amazing. Like, it's just an amazing achievement.
A few other awards too, actually. Yeah, so it also won the Austin Film Critics Award, Golden Trailer Awards, whatever that is, I've never heard of that. Gotham Awards, and the Rondo Hatton Classic Horror Awards. Ooh!
Oh my God!
Best independent film.
By the way, like at the beginning, it said it was a Netflix film.
So either did Netflix make it or did they buy it?
They would have bought it. Yeah. So they
bought it.
Yeah. So they do that. They go like Sundance and other films, and people will be showing their films like this, and Netflix and other distributors will basically just buy the film.
So how can they call it an original film then?
Because they bought it. That's the only way.
It was
bought it. Is that it?
Yeah, that's literally it. They bought the rights to the film. That makes it a Netflix original. Yep.
But apparently it was scheduled to be released on Netflix in February 2017 anyway. But the the Sundance Film Festival was in January, so it was scheduled anyway to be Netflix literally a month later. So it wasn't from the Sundance Film Festival it was picked up. It was just Sundance was kind of, just the month before. But it is.
So maybe that's it. Maybe I'm wrong then. Maybe Netflix did fund it for Netflix, and then they also, showed it in a few festivals or something. That makes sense.
Does that mean it's an independent film?
This is definitely an independent film.
It has an independent vibe to it. But
totally.
It's one of those films, like, if you went to a film festival, say the Galway Film Blair or something, and the way they do these 10 o'clock screenings at night, and then you go to see these random films, and sometimes they're terrific. Like, I'd love to be in a cinema watching this, and it is very independent film festival feel to it. You can imagine, like, going to film festival and sitting down in the audience and seeing this there rather than on Netflix.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was produced by Film Science and XYZ Films.
Okay.
So I would definitely put this on the independent film list.
I wonder how much did it cost to make? What was the budget? And where was it filmed? Because it kind of looked like Seattle or somewhere, Washington, or.
You're right. It was filmed in Portland, so just south of Seattle.
Cool. And I wouldn't be very well up in my American geography, but just kind of guessed.
It is, yeah. So Portland would look very similar to Seattle, absolutely. Like trees-wise and landscape-wise, yeah. They're sister cities. Portland's the more granola hipster version, and Seattle's more the wants to be the new Silicon Valley.
Oh, how much did it cost to make this film? I wonder.
It doesn't say. I wasn't able to see the budget for it, so I don't know what the budget was. It couldn't have been huge, though. I mean, she's not a huge star. There's no big names in it. It clearly didn't have.
Wood is a big name.
He's a decent enough name, but I don't think he's super expensive, especially if you're hiring him for little independent, quirky films.
Well, he might have taken a reduced salary. Yeah. But I mean, he said at the beginning that he made enough money out of Lord of the Rings. I don't think for an actor out in the business of acting, just for money. I mean, they want to work and they want to make good films. So maybe he's just struggling to get good roles.
Could be, or maybe he really liked the film, and that's why. This looks. It looked like it was probably kind of a fun part to play from an acting perspective. You get to play against type for him.
Because he's so typecast, Lord of the Rings. Like has that look about him, But so it was so great to see him like this. Like I really want to. I don't know what I haven't seen or heard of Elijah Wood in the last few years anyway, because he hasn't popped up.
It's because he's been doing little indie films. I saw something else by him, that he was in not long ago. I can't remember what it was called, but it was the same thing. It was a similar, just kind of quirky independent film. So I think he's kind of just been doing a few things like that. To where
I must check some more of his films out, just out of curiosity, just to see,
You'll have to get him on the show and ask him.
Yeah. We will.
We'll shoot him an email. He did Dirk Gently, Holistic Detective, or something like that. Do you remember? It's on Netflix. It's okay.
Is it?
But,
I think I read a book actually.
Yeah, it's based on a book by an Irish. I think the guy who wrote it is Irish, actually. That did the series. So.
Douglas Adams.
Douglas Adams. Yeah. Oh well, Douglas Adams is an Irish.
He wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's right. I've read that. I've been to Douglas Adams' grave. He's buried here in London.
Really?
Yeah. I've been to his grave. So I love Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's like in my top 10 books.
So what score would we give this film?
Good job of getting us back on track, Claire.
Yeah. Concrete images. As I told you, remember if anyone's listening to my your podcast, Qualified Actor, you spelled my name wrong as well.
Don't tell anybody.
But yeah, so
it's fine. I mean, I barely know you, Claire. Like, so it's totally understandable that I would misspell your name. I'm gonna go 4 stars. I'm with Claire. I really liked this film. I get that it's not like a laugh out loud comedy, but I think it's quirky enough comedy. It's got enough interesting elements to it. I really love the performances. Like as an actor, one of the things I watch a lot of is performance in the way actors play characters, and I just love
this actress. Yeah,
she's so
Melanie
good in that.
Lynskey.
Without her,
it's so refreshing to see that on screen.
Exactly. So she really brings this film up to another level, I think, in my opinion. So I'm going to go 4 stars.
I give it 4 stars as well. It's really enjoyed it.
Okay, I'm going to give it 2.
It's interesting.
That's as high as I can go. I debated whether I go 1 or 1.5.
Really?
Give it a 2.
That's interesting.
Because it was a very good performance, and it did have good good scenes, and there was good aspects to it. But overall, no, it's a 2.
But this film is freely available to watch on Netflix. It's a very long title. It's based on a country western song. But I know Carl gave it 2 stars, myself and mine, I gave it 4 stars. But if you're looking for a really cool, interesting thriller with brilliant acting, not thriller, but kind of a, what would you call it? Comedy thriller?
Yeah, quirky comedy thriller, yeah.
Yeah, and it's very, remember, the title is very long. I don't feel home in this world anymore, which is a hard title to remember. So, but if you look up Elijah Wood on Netflix, it'll come up, because Elijah Wood, you remember, the other girl's name, Melanie Lynskey, she's not as well known, but her performance is terrific. So if you look up Elijah Wood Netflix and find I Don't Feel Home in This World Anymore, check it out.
As always, leave us a comment or a review. Let us know what you think of our show, but also let you know what you think of the movie that we just spoke of. Do you agree with myself and Claire, or do you agree with Carl in regards to the film? And with that, we will say goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.